Hi guys, I will explain vehicle pull by conicity and ply steer from definition to summary. Here I have a quiz for you. What is the correct description about the graph of force and moment? Number 1, conicity is 0. Number 2, ply steer is 0. Number 3, both of conicity and ply steer are 0. In this video, I will employ the SAE coordinate system shown in this figure because it is easy to explain conicity and ply steer. X-axis for longitudinal direction and y-axis for lateral direction and z-axis is vertical direction. This figure was used to explain sideslip angle in the last video, E1017. With the steering angle delta in a turn, the wheel rim points in the positive x direction, but the wheel and the tire assembly moves not in that direction, but in the green V direction. This is because of the tire slip angle caused by tire deformation. Therefore, actual steering angle is the wheel slip angle beta, not the steering angle delta. The steering angle delta is the sum of tire side slip angle alpha and the wheel slip angle beta. In this figure, red arrows are related to the conicity and blue arrows are related to the ply steer. The figure shows positive and negative self-aligning moments caused by corresponding conicity and ply steer forces. The ply steer's pneumatic trail forms behind the center of tire contact patch, and the conicity's pneumatic trail forms in the front of center of tire contact patch. A vehicle pull can be defined as an undesirable vehicle condition in which a driver must continuously supply a constant torque to the steering wheel to keep the vehicle going straight ahead. If the vehicle continues to go straight with the steering wheel turned from the neutral position, when a driver releases the steering wheel, that is not the vehicle pull. Vehicle pull is mostly determined by the front tires, and the rear tires have a little effect. If there is a conicity in one direction on both front tires, the vehicle pulls. However, if conicity occurs in one direction on both of rear tires, as shown in this figure, the longitudinal axis of the vehicle does not match the direction of travel and goes straight. And this is called vehicle drift. Vehicle drift refers to a state in which the vehicle runs while maintaining the side slip angle psi, in which the black longitudinal axis of the vehicle appears as a constant yaw angle with respect to the moving direction, marked in red. Vehicle drift will be covered in a video to be released in the future. In this video, we will examine the effect of front wheel conicity and ply steer on vehicle pull. This figure shows the lateral force and the side slip angle for both of forward and backward rolling. Both curves pass through the origin of coordinate when there are no conicity and no ply steer. Conicity and ply steer are defined when the side slip angle equals 0. Let's be familiar with the force and moment graph depending on typical types of conicities and ply steers. In a small side slip angle, lateral force, and self-aligning moment, the relationship between lateral force Fi and the side slip angle alpha can be described as a straight line, and so does the relationship between self-aligning moment mg and the side slip angle alpha. When the lateral force line and the moment line pass through the origin of coordinate at the same time, the vehicle goes straight, and the steering wheel does not rotate and maintain the straight state even when the driver does not hold the steering wheel. This figure shows the force and the moment graph for pure ply steer on front two tires. When both front tires have right direction ply steer, if a driver holds the steering wheel straight, the longitudinal direction of tires will remain consistent with the longitudinal direction of the vehicle, and the vehicle will move in a direction to the right. If a driver do not hold the longitudinal direction of tire is directed to the left, away from the longitudinal direction of the vehicle, and the vehicle moves in a straight direction without pulling. That can be explained through a graph. When a steering wheel is fixed in the straight position and tires are in a straight state, the lateral slip angle is 0. In that case, the positive lateral force and negative self-aligning moment corresponding to the ply steer occur. On the other hand, when a driver releases a steering wheel, the front tires rotate to the left in response to the ply steer, and the tires move in the straight ahead direction. Here, the slip angle has a positive value because it is in the opposite direction to the steering angle, and in this case, both the lateral force and the self-aligning moment are 0. On the contrary, when both front tires have a pure ply steer to the left, with the driver holding the steering wheel in the center, the longitudinal axis of tires will remain consistent with the longitudinal axis of the vehicle, and the vehicle will move in a direction to the left. If a driver do not hold the steering wheel, the longitudinal axis of tires are directed to the right, away from the longitudinal axis of the vehicle, and the vehicle moves in a straight ahead without pulling. That can be explained through this figure. When the steering wheel is fixed in the straight position, the lateral slip angle is 0 because the tires are in a straight position, and the negative lateral force and the positive self-aligning moment corresponding to the ply steer occur. When a driver releases steering wheel, the front tires rotate to the right in response to the ply steer, and now the tires move in the straight direction. Here, the side slip angle is negative because it is in the positive direction to the steering angle, and at this time, both the lateral force and the self-aligning moment all are 0. This figure is about the tire with pure conicity. If both front tires have a right direction conicity, when the driver holds the steering wheel in a straight state, the longitudinal tire axis coincides with the longitudinal vehicle axis, and the vehicle is pulled to the right. Unlike ply steer, in the case of conicity, since the tire moves along the trajectory of a circle, the vehicle does not move in a straight direction without the vehicle pull unless the driver consistently operates the steering wheel with some effort. In order for a driver to go straight, steering wheel must be rotated to the left so that the lateral force Fy becomes 0. And for this, the moment mgFy0 is consistently required. Therefore, since the pull occurs constantly, the driver must continuously provide the steering wheel with the corresponding torque, mgFy0. That can be explained through this figure. When the steering wheel is fixed in the straight position, the tires is in a straight state, so the lateral slip angle is 0, and a positive lateral force and a positive self-aligning moment corresponding to the conicity occur. If the vehicle is steered to the left to go straight, the vehicle can go straight at the side slip angle at which the lateral force becomes 0. But the driver should constantly supply the necessary moment mgFy0 through the steering wheel. Here, the side slip angle has positive value because it is in the opposite direction to the steering angle, and at this time, the lateral force is 0, but the self-aligning moment is not 0. If the front tires have left direction conicity, when the driver holds the steering wheel in a straight state, the longitudinal tire axis coincides with the longitudinal vehicle axis, and the vehicle is pulled to the left. Unlike a ply steer, in the case of conicity, since the tires move along the trajectory of a circle, the vehicle does not move in a straight direction without the vehicle pull unless the driver consistently operates the steering wheel with some effort. In order for a driver to go straight, the steering wheel must be rotated to the right so that Fy becomes 0. And for this, the moment mgFy0 is continuously required. Therefore, since the pull occurs constantly, the driver must continuously provide steering wheel with the corresponding torque mgFy0. That can be explained through this figure. When the steering wheel is fixed in the straight position and the tires are in the straight state, so the lateral slip angle is 0, and a negative lateral force and a negative self-aligning moment corresponding to the conicity occur. If the vehicle is steered to the right, the vehicle can go straight at the side slip angle at which the lateral force becomes 0, but the driver should constantly supply the necessary moment mgFy0 through the steering wheel. Here, the side slip angle has a positive value because it is in the opposite direction to the steering angle, and at this time, the lateral force is 0, but self-aligning moment is not 0. The figures here came from Hans Pascal's book, Tire and Vehicle Dynamics, 3rd edition, page 191. The figures here shows the force versus side slip angle on the forward and the backward rolling for pure conicity, pure ply steer, and both of those. For the pure conicity, the intersection of forward and backward rolling is on the vertical force axis. For the pure ply steer, the intersection is on the horizontal side slip angle axis. When both of conicity and ply steer are involved, the intersection does not exist either on the lateral force axis or on the side slip angle axis, except per the intersection on the coordinate origin or pure plysthere. There are two intersections on the horizontal side slip angle axis. Pottinger defined the aligning torque static phase as the number of degrees of side slip angle between the lateral force intersection with the side slip angle axis in which lateral force is 0, and the aligning torque intersection with the side slip angle axis in which aligning torque is 0. If the aligning torque crosses the side slip angle axis at a higher slip angle than the lateral force, the aligning torque static phase is negative. If the aligning torque crosses the side slip angle axis at the lower side slip angle than the lateral force, the aligning torque static phase is positive. Pottinger explained the tires will produce a vehicle pull even on the flat road if the aligning torque static phase of the front tires is not 0. In other words, pull force is produced whenever the lateral force and the self-aligning moment by the front tires do not become 0 at the same side slip angle. You can find the details in the essay paper 76071, Plysthere in Radial Carcass Tires, written by Marion Pottinger, published in 1976. Lee and Moon called intersections as alpha 1 and alpha 2. They theoretically explained conicity and plysthere effects on 3 cases. In the first case, alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2, and all they are equal to 0. In the second case, alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2, but all they are not equal to 0. In the third case, alpha 1 is not equal to alpha 2. And they experimentally proved that theory through the extensive experimental investigation. He also concluded that pull force occurs whenever side slip angle alpha 1 is not equal to alpha 2. You can find the details in the essay paper 030099, Tire and Beaker Pull 2, Basic Theory, Simulation and Validation, published in 2000, written by Jeonghwan Lee and Seunghwan Moon. Why is the Beaker pull produced when alpha 1 is not equal to alpha 2? In that case, as shown in this figure, at the side slip angle alpha 1, lateral force Fy is equal to 0, but corresponding self-aligning moment mzFo is not equal to 0. At the side slip angle alpha 2, self-aligning moment mz is equal to 0, but corresponding lateral force Fymo is not equal to 0. So, whichever side slip angle you choose, one of them is not equal to 0. Consequently, there should be a vehicle pull. Let's find the answer to the quiz. This figure describes zero conicity with a plysthere. The force and the moment lines intersect with zero values at the same side slip angle. There is no vehicle pull, but the steering wheel is off-center if you take your hands off the steering wheel. So, the answer is number 1. Conicity is 0. Here we have a summary. Vehicle pull is defined as an undesirable vehicle condition in which a driver must continuously supply a constant torque to the steering wheel to keep the vehicle going straight ahead. Vehicle pull is mostly determined by the front tires, and the rear tires have a little effect. Vehicle drift is defined as a state in which the vehicle runs while maintaining a constant yaw angle from the longitudinal vehicle axis. A vehicle runs straight ahead and the steering wheel is at the center position if force line and moment line simultaneously pass through the origin of force side slip angle coordinate. In the case of pure ply steers to the same direction on the front wheels, lateral force and self-aligning moment become zero at the same side slip angle. There is no vehicle pull. Steering wheel is off-center if you release the steering wheel. In the case of pure conicity to the same direction on the front wheels, lateral force and self-aligning moment doesn't become zero at the same side slip angle. There is a vehicle pull. Driver should supply the corresponding torque to keep the vehicle to move straight ahead. If you watch the previous videos, you can easily understand upcoming videos. In the previous video, E0048, I explained the special case of Moore circle and the Z channel as the application of second moment and product moment of area. Recently, it has been explained that thread pattern blocks produce ply steer by analyzing the deformation of actual tire thread pattern blocks with asymmetric cross-section beams and calculating the direction of displacement that occurs around the neutral axis. The next video will be ply steer, part 23. I will explain the equivalent camber angle and the equivalent side slip angle. Please hit the thumbs up and catch the brand new videos by free subscription. So, what are you waiting for? See you on next video. Goodbye guys.